Hopefully you got that.
I heard it, yeah.
You did, yeah. Well, welcome to the very first Isthmian review show. And, of course, this is going to be all new for me and all new for Terry and all new also for Paul. But first of all, massive welcome, of course, to Terry and to Paul. And great for you to be joining us on a regular basis, guys.
No problem, mate.
No problem, mate.
I mean, some of the games then, what we'll look at tonight, we'll have a look at the likes of, in the North Division, Heybridge Swifts against Felixstowe, Coggeshall Town against Grays Athletic. In the South Central, we'll have a look at Hanwell Town versus Tooting, Egham Town versus Waltham Abbey, of course, old side there of Paul's. In the South East Division, of course, we've got the Guernsey versus Haywoods Heath. And then in the trophy, we've got Averley against Dunstable Town, Bracknell Town versus Bognor Regis, and Whitehawk versus Harlow Town. And of course, as well, our main game, which we'll have a look at as well, which will please my other co-host, of course, on the other show, VCD, up against Leiston. So I suppose, guys, if we start then, I suppose, with the North game between Heybridge Swifts and Felixstowe, I found a few little bits on an app of their form of late, and I mean, Heybridge go into this in their last 5 games. They've won 3 and lost 2 in their last 5. Felixstowe go into it with 2 wins, 2 losses, and a defeat. Heybridge have scored 13 in the league, conceded 10, and Felixstowe have a dead level, scored 8 and conceded 8. And of course, we know that the likes of Julian Dix has taken over, but literally it's 1 win and 1 draw in their head-to-head, according to the goal app that I've got up in front of me. Back in 2012, Heybridge beat them 4-0 at home. And then in the return fixture, it was Felixstowe 1, Heybridge Swifts 1. Tell, I mean, yourself, with this game on, how do you see this game going? I mean, Julian going in there, fairly new to the role, but he started off really well.
Well, he's made a lot of new signings, hasn't he? So, to start off, I think, they won their last 3, did you say?
Yep.
So to have that many new signings come in and start that well, then that's off to them, 'cause it's not as Paul would tell you, it's not an easy thing to do, especially midway through the season, or albeit 10 games in, to get new players in at the ground running. So fair play to them on that point. I think I said on your other show the other night, I see Felixstowe play this year, and they're a really good footballing side. So that'd be a really good game tomorrow. That should be a really good game tomorrow between 2 good footballing sides.
Paul, and yourself with this one?
Yeah, I sort of what Tell's saying about the pitch as well will be lovely. So both sides can get down and play. I'd have thought that Julian will have his side getting the ball down and playing as well. So when you get 2 footballing sides together, it's anyone's shout, really. Heybridge look quite strong at home. I think they've only lost once. On their own patch, and like you say, Julian's had a great start, so it's a difficult one to call, really.
I'd tend to go to Swifts simply because they're, they seem to be on the up at the moment, if you know what I mean, both on and off the pitch. So, personally, I'd go for an Heybridge win there.
Yeah.
I
mean, he seems to have got them back into the swing of things, doesn't he, Julian? I mean, he does seem to have, seems steadied. Was a little bit rocky, I suppose, at one stage. But I know, as I said, when they came to play Averley, I made a statement and said, look, in the Averley TV afterwards, said, anybody that finishes above Heybridge Swifts could well go on to win the league, because they looked a really decent outfit, even though they were down to 10 men at one stage. They still looked, for me, the better team, for majority of that game, other than sort of like a 5-6 minute spell when, Averley scored 3 in session. But other than that, they looked a really, really good side.
Well, seeing as, they've lost the spine of their side, really. They lost the goalkeeper. They signed a new goalkeeper. The centre-back they've just lost, I believe he's going to Chelmsford, so I'm hearing. And the centre midfielder that they had there has gone to Concord, I believe. So to lose that sort of spine of the team and still carry on getting results that they've got, fair play to them, because that's not an easy thing to do. Sorry, Paul?
They lost Sam Bantwick as well, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, Banner's he ain't stopped scoring, has he? Banner's double choice, always away. So again, that's sort of like the spine of the side. So fair play to Julian there. He's hit the ground running there, which ain't an easy thing to do.
And of course, they lost Luque as well, didn't they, at the beginning of the season at Lincoln as well, which lost to him as well. But I mean, Felixstowe itself, I mean, we can't underestimate them. I mean, I know they came, Averley went to play them, and I think they roughed Averley up a little bit and got in their faces a little bit and come away with a point. So I mean, they seem to be a side that that will win games. That maybe they shouldn't be winning, and games they should be winning. I mean, looking at their results, beat Romford 2-1, lost to Soham 3-1 at home, lost to Sudbury 1-0 at home, then drew away to Tilbury, which ain't an easy place to go, and then they beat last time out. They beat Northwood 3-1 as well.
I think they're a bit of an unknown quantity, really, aren't they? They're sort of. They're a big club. Everyone knows that. They've probably got that little bit of a surprise factor as well. But as I say, I saw them play, and they can do. In the game that I saw them, they played good football, but they mix it up as well, which is something you need in this league, as Paul will tell you. Yeah,
I mean, Heybridge at the minute they're sitting fourth. Felixstowe are finishing. I've finished 12th at the moment, but of course, if Felixstowe win tomorrow, they actually go above Heybridge. Yeah, shows you how tight the.
That's right. Yeah.
So
it's always a
go on, Paul.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
it's always the way in that league. You can be sitting 15th, win two, and you're sitting second.
Yeah,
it's always the way.
Yeah.
So
if I
think over the next few weeks, I think you'll start seeing the divide then, and you'll get what I always call the three divisions within it. You'll get the top six and the middle bits, and the strugglers at the bottom there.
Yeah. So if I was pushing both of you two, who would you say for this one?
I'm going to stick my neck out, and I'm going to go for an Heybridge win now.
Paul?
Yeah, I think I'd agree. Heybridge probably sort of 3-1, something like that. I fancy Heybridge. I think they'll do well again. Yeah,
and I must admit, I'm going with you two as well. I mean, what sort of score do you reckon, Tel?
I think it'd be a close game. I think, but there should be lots of goals in it. So I'm going to go for a 1-0.
A 1-0. I'm going to go to 2-1. And then next week we'll see how well we've done on
it. Yeah, we do.
We do. Why not? But I suppose the next one to go on to another team that took a lot of headlines when they came into the league as well because of the Ollie Murs situation. I mean, Coggeshall Town against Grays Athletic. I mean, another one of these games for me that looks like it's going to be another absolute humdinger.
Well, I mean, Coggeshall ain't lost at home yet, I believe. Which that's a good thing to have in your locker. And Grays, after a poor start, have only lost one in their last 8. So again, that's going to be a tight game. Now, I think Coggeshall have got a lot of firepower, haven't they? They've obviously we just mentioned Ben OBNS and Bentic. Obviously they've got a famous chairman there, haven't they, or an owner or whatever that's putting money in, and again, I think they're a bit of an unknown quantity in that league at the moment, but they're doing well, holding their own.
Well, just looking at what you said about form, Tel. I mean, the last games for Coggeshall. I mean, 1-1 against Brentwood away. They lost 1-0 to Western Supermare. Then they won away 2-0, which is a great result, away to Hornchurch. 5 away to Romford, and then a last time out a 3-3 draw with Marks Canvey Island. Grays, well, they started off with 1-1 at Milden Hall at home, 1-1 with Bowers, which is a good result at home. They then beat Great Wakering 4-3 at home, and then they lost 4-2 at home to Seven Oaks. And then just recently, the last game out, they beat Soham 2-1. So they've had quite a few home games, Grays, but they've won 2 in their last 5, and Coggeshall have done exactly the same. In fact, they've got identical form for the last five games they've played.
That's interesting. Oh, I mean, Grays again. They've signed one of my old players actually this week, Alberto Pinto.
Yeah, I saw.
Strong. What he's all about. He's played a lot of games at this level, and he's strengthened them upgrades, without a doubt.
I mean,
I think if you look at, I think you said about them not being at home. I think they've only won 1 at home, drawn 3, Coggeshall. And if you look at Grays away record's excellent. I think they've won 3 out of the 4 they played away. So
that's interesting, Paul, isn't it? If they're better Is that down to the pitch at home at Aveley? Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Again, it's quite interesting looking. And we just said Felixstowe were 8-8. I mean, Grays again, scored 10, conceded 10, and Coggeshall scored 11, conceded 8. So again, possibly plenty of goals.
Yeah, so that'd be a 0-0 draw then.
But again, it's going to be a good game. Two sides that possibly at the beginning of the season, if you'd have been asking people who do you think is going to be up there pushing for title, pushing for playoffs, I mean, would I be right in saying that Coggeshall and Grays would be two of those that would have been in the mention?
Well, Grays are a massive club. They're always going to get a mention, aren't they? Whether they're going to be there or thereabouts. And they didn't have a great start, did they? But they're going to come good. I'd expect them to be up there or thereabouts. Coggeshall, we don't know, do we? They was doing well in the cups. When I don't know. I think they got knocked out of the FA Cup the other week, and by all accounts, they was unlucky in that. So again, I mean, they're an unknown quantity. No one knows what they're about really. Give it another 10 games, and that'll give it a bigger picture of what they're going to be like this season.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I was pushing you guys for score on this one, and which way round, where would we be going with this one?
I'm going to go for a draw on that one, simply because of the stats. Grays away from home and Coggleshall's home record. So if I'm pushed, I think I'll go for a Coggleshall win 2-1. So 2-1. Yeah.
What about you, Paul?
Yeah, to be fair, I was just going to say the same. I fancy Coggeshall to win 2-1. They've got a lot of good players there. They've got a lot of good players. I suppose they've signed a lot of players, so it's going to take a little bit of time for it to bed in, I suppose. But yeah, I fancy Coggeshall 2-1 on that one.
2-1. I'm going to sit on the fence. I think I'll go with a 1-1. Why not? But
I think you could be right.
I mean, if we sort of shift divisions, and I'm not too sure how much you guys, we're going to sort of go into the unknown, I suppose, with some of the teams that we're going to talk about going into the stuff.
Yeah.
But we've Hanwell Town, they're playing Tooting. I mean, Tooting have just sort of, come down from the division above last year, had a change of manager as well. I mean, where do we see this one going? Hanwell against Tooting, and of course, as Keith said on numerous occasions, their pitch is sensational.
If you look at their records, I've had a little check up this week. Hanwell are unbeaten at home, and Tooting ain't got they're not got a very good away record. But I mean, Tooting are a massive club, aren't they? They're a well-known amateur club. Hanwell, I don't really know that much about. Only through listening to your show when Keith said it about their ground and whatever. So I don't really know a lot about them. I don't know. I think a lot of the games at this level in any of the divisions, I think home advantage is playing a big part this season. Looking at most teams' records, so I don't know.
Look, a bit at their form. I mean, you just talked about the form. Hanwell have drawn 2, but then again, one of them was a replay. 1-1 with Leatherhead, and 0-0 with Leatherhead. They lost to VCD away 3-1. They lost to Ware. They beat Ware 3-0 at home, drew 2-2 with Chalfont and Peter. Tooting and Mitcham, well, they won 3-1 against Hertford, which I think is a great result for them. Lost away to Burgess Hill 2-0. They lost to Cheshunt 3-0 away. They beat Egham 4-3 away, and then they beat FC Romania 4-1 away as well. So they've been knocking in the goals.
Yeah, I think it looks like they've scored 20 and conceded 21, so as much as they score, they also concede. Hanwell, they haven't conceded many, they've conceded 7 in the last 8 league game, and scored 13. So, it's one of them. Hanwell are going to be strong. They look like they've recruited quite well. The pitch obviously looks fantastic over there. I suppose the other way around, Tooting will like to go there and play.
Yeah.
A decent surface. If it does rain, I don't know what your teams would like to tell, but we should turn up. It was a nice pitch.
Yeah, I think all
through the roof.
Yeah, I think all teams are like that. If you turn up and it's nice, then it gives you a little bit of a boost, doesn't it? So
yeah.
No. I've never seen them play. I've never played them. I've never seen them play. So
yeah, we played we played Hanwell when I was at Cheshunt. I think we played them in the trophy and beat them 2-1, I think it was. But we were under pressure for large periods over there. They get a decent crowd. But yeah, that was 2 years ago. So they've changed quite a lot since then.
Yeah. Guys, if I can ask Terry just to move to his right a little bit and then Paul a little bit to his left. That's it, spot on. And we're in the picture now. That's it, we're there now. I mean, for me, I saw Tooting play against Averley in the trophy, I think it was. And to be really honest with you, for a side that's just dropped down for the Prem, I must admit I wasn't very impressed. I must admit I thought Averley on the day were far and away the better side on the day, so I was a little bit disappointed. I thought they were going to put up a sort of a bit bigger fight against that day, but looking at since then, it looks like they've sort of improved their form going forward since.
It's always tough, and it just seems to get relegated out of the Premier. They've obviously had a tough season, and I think off the field, that I think I'm right in saying they've had a few changes as well. So they have to settle back into being in a new division as well with teams that they haven't played, I guess. So I mean, Tooting's a big club. I don't think they'll struggle that much this year, but maybe it's just a bedding in, settling in period for them to get used to playing in the division below they was in last year.
Well, as Keith calls it, it's the bits and bobs league, isn't it? So it's
trying to get that right. I think it's like everything, Hotel. When you look at the teams that come up, look at Basildon, for instance. They've come up with a winning mentality and they've carried that on. If you get relegated, you've got a losing mentality because you've been relegated. So it's hard to break that cycle. And I think put on there, to be fair, mate. It's just get bed in, get the division, figure the division out. I think everybody's figuring this division out. Because it's brand new. No one really knows anybody. Give them half a season. I would have thought you'd start to see them kick on a little bit. Yeah,
another 5 or 6 games. I think that all leagues will start sorting themselves out then. So,
I mean, for me, for me as well. They've played each other once this season already, and it was Hanwell 3, Mitcham United. Tooting Mitcham United 4. So an early sort of. Win for them.
Both live scorers in, both live scoring goals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
it's 0-0 then.
So that'd be a 0-0.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, doesn't it? But I mean, where are we going, lads? I mean, what we thinking?
Well, I'm going to go with them simply because of their own record. They haven't been beaten at home, and I can't see Tooting not having a great away record. I can't see that changing tomorrow, so I'm going to go for Hanwell winning. I think they'll win. I think they'll win 3-0 tomorrow.
3-0. Paul?
I'm going Hanwell as well, but I think Tooting will score. I fancy 2-1.
You go 2-1. You know what? I'm going to go 2-1, but I'm going to go the other way. I just think all of a sudden Tooting seem to be, especially the last two, they've won 2 games by 4. In the last 2 away from home, so I want to go for a 2-1 win to Tooting. Just be different.
Just be different.
Hey, by Saturday night, we'll all know who was right, won't we? So.
Yeah, I think there'll be a few text messages flying about it.
So I suppose the next one then, a new team to me, and I don't know about yourselves, guys. If a team that no disrespect to them, I'd not heard too much of, I must admit, before this season, and of course that's Egham Town, and of course they're playing Waltham Abbey this weekend. I mean, looking at the form going into this game, I mean the Abbey have won 4 and lost 1. They've beat Hayes and Yeading 1-0, which is a great result for them. 2-1 away win at South Park, 3-2 at home to Hanwell, 3-0 at home to Uxbridge, and then they lost at the weekend, of course, during the week, 2-0 to Chipstead away. Where Egham have beaten White 2-1, and then they've lost away 4-1 to Greenwich Borough, away 5-0 to Chipstead. They lost at home 4-3 to Tooting, and then they lost 7-1 at away to Bracknell in their last outing. So, I mean, Waltham Abbey now with the main man Mark in there. I mean, what do you think? Do you think this one's going to be a little bit of a one-sided game?
I'd go. I'd say that. Yeah, I went and watched the Abbey the other week, and I was really impressed with them. I mean, it was a typical Stimo side, really. Really organised, got a set way of playing. keep the ball moving, don't they? You know, and I was really impressed with them the other day when I saw them. So it's not surprising that they're up there. I don't really know a lot about Egham, but I mean, you know, looking at their record at the moment, they've let 24 goals in the last six games. So if you're leaking that amount of goals in, then you're going to lose a lot more games than what you win. They've got home advantage, I know, but I don't think that matters too much in non-league football. I think they are up the pyramid you go. Maybe it matters a little bit more, but I don't think it matters that much too much in non-league. And I've got a feeling Wolverhampton Abbey are going to win that by a few, seeing as they lost their last game as well.
Yeah. And looking at the table as well, you know, the Abbey have played 9 with 21 points, and then you go right to the other end, and Egham have played 9 and with 4, so there's 17 points of difference as well in the league already after 9 games.
Big gap.
Yeah, it's like goals wise, they've conceded 30 in the league and scored 8. You know, I think it tells its own story, doesn't it? Really. The Abbey look like they're flying at the minute. They've come out of that brilliant. But to be fair, as soon as Stimo got appointed, I expected that. Expected that to happen. He's done a good job pretty much everywhere he's been.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And you know, I think Egham have won 1. They've won 1 game out of their 9 league games. You know, they're going to start. I know they've changed manager. To be fair, when he took over, they had a couple of great results in the cup competitions. But they look like they're in trouble. So you can bet they'll win 1-0.
I mean, look,
that does seem to be the way. Yeah.
I mean, looking at that, was you surprised? I mean, you know, Mark, of course, when Thurrock went to the wall, I mean, was you expecting? You know, was it a surprise to you as it was to, I know, to me and Keith anyway, that you know, that Mark's finished up at the Abbey?
If I'm honest, yeah, because I thought, you know, he's managing the pro game, and no doubt he's more than capable of managing higher up the pyramid. But then saying that, from what from going over there and seeing what the chairman's doing over there, you know, albeit only the car park at the moment, etc. But he's clearly got a target of where he wants his club to go, and that's probably what sold it to Mark. So.
He's a top chairman. He's a fantastic chairman, to be fair to him, and he's put his money where his mouth. I spoke to him first couple of games into the season, and his plans are to put ice baths in, new physio room going in. I know they're talking about knocking the change rooms down, rebuilding the bar over there, new dressing rooms. So he's
to be fair, that's what he needs, Paul. It needs that doing, doesn't it? Really.
It does. It's needed it for a long time. I mean, what he's done with the pitch is fantastic. It's cost a lot of money.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
But if you're doing your job, it backs you 100%. And even when it's not your way, he's still behind you. He's a proper chairman.
Yeah.
And I'm really pleased with him over there. You know, obviously I fell out with 1 or 2 when I left, but we've kissed and made up, and we all get on well. And yeah, so I'm really pleased with him. I was surprised Stimo went over there. For Stimo's sake, but I'm not surprised the chairman showed his ambition by going and getting him. Yeah,
no, fair play.
And it is one of those things, you know, for me as well. I mean, you know, it's local to me. It's literally no more than 5 minutes down the road, you know, to go down there. And it is the difference. I mean, when you go over that bridge and you used to watch, you know, to see the, you know, in Paul's days as manager and others, you know, you'd go over that bridge, you look over down the bridge and you just see what look like proper beach, you know, and now you go over and up and over it all the time. And it basically looks now like a free surface.
5 years, my bucket and spade over there, mate.
Well, I used to play over there years ago in the black and white days, and you used to have to be a mountain goat to play on that pitch. I tell you, it weren't level to say the least. So,
it looks like a 3G surface now. From a distance, when you look at it, it's that green. It's amazing surface now.
He's done well. I think his biggest gripe. I think where it went wrong for him was. They relayed it or they reseeded it, but the drainage wasn't great, so they struggled to deal. So he had to do it again, and then the drainage still wasn't great, and he's had to do it again. But it looks like he's got it right this time.
Yeah, it looked fantastic when I went over there. Yeah,
yeah, it's top draw. It cost a lot of money, but give me grass over AstroTurf all day long.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah,
let's not go there. Anyway, right. I thought I was going to get somebody different, you know, somebody on the show was going to say they wanted the free cheap, but there we go. So where we go with the score for this one then?
I'm gonna stick my neck right out here and say that poor old Egham are going to get a bit of a backlash from his last result, because I dare say they weren't happy getting beat down at Chipstead. I'm going to go for a 4-0 there,
right,
to the Abbey.
Paul?
Yeah, 3-0 Abbey for me. 3-0 Abbey for me.
Sorry, Egham.
Yeah, well, I'm quite glad you go where I was going, because I'm going 5-0 the Abbey. So there you go.
Oh, really? We'll just blame you then.
Yeah,
you had your bets, mate. You had your bets.
Well, there we go. You know, that's no disrespect to Egham. Hopefully, Egham go out there and do the business on the weekend. And the South East Division then is one game in there, which is of course Guernsey against Haywards Heath. I mean, where do you see, you know, with this one, the trip? How does that actually affect people? You know, going over to Guernsey. I mean, do you see that one being a bit of a nightmare journey? You know, for some people,
I think it's exactly the opposite, Dave. I think, like Paul just said earlier, I've been there. Have you been there, Paul? Or?
No, I've not been there, mate.
Yeah, well, it's a lovely ground, like nice surface and that. It's one of them places where it's like a little bean out with the boys, isn't it? You know, it's.
I don't drink.
No, I'm not talking about that. I just mean you're a liar about that, by the way. But no, I just mean it's a good day out for them, isn't it? You know, they get the flights over there and they're well looked after. I mean, it was the case up until this season anyway that Guernsey's home record really have got them out of trouble in the last couple of years to keep them in the division. I mean, they've worked so hard to get into the mainland leagues. I hope they stay there. But I think that's going against them. I think teams now are going there and looking forward to going there. Their home record's not as great as it has been, and I've got to say that you know their home record is a must for them. And they lost their last 6 there, I think.
Well,
so, am I right in saying that?
This is the form at the moment. According to this, Guernsey in the league have scored 4 and conceded 14. So they've lost their last 5, 2-1 at home to Sittingbourne, 3-0 away to East Grinstead, 5-3 at home to Phoenix, 3-0 away to Guernsey, but they might get those points back, and a 1-0 away to Hastings as well. So at home to Hastings. Haywards Heath, of course, they won. So they drew 1-1 with Ashford. Then they won 2-0 at home to Three Bridges, 2-0 at home to Sittingbourne. They lost 3-2 at home at Bracknell, and they also won 4-2 away to Faversham. So they've won 3 in their last 5, and Guernsey have lost all 5.
So their away record is really good then. Their away record is really good, but you know, on that again, I've not been away with Steve, but I think Keith was saying that the pitch over there is really nice, isn't it? Is that am I right in saying that? I don't know. And maybe it's the case for them as well. If it is a nice pitch, then teams go there and look forward to going there. So
Guernsey has won 1, and what we were saying earlier on about that being there, sort of like helping them out. In the last 5 home games in the league, they've actually won 1, and that was a win against Ramsgate.
They've only won at home and 1-1 away.
Yeah,
you know, and they've conceded
struggling at the minute.
25, mate. They're shipping goals.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised when I looked at it today. I was really, really surprised. I thought they'd be challenging because I'm going to guess there's a few quid over there, and I know they've only got a small pool to pick from, but they get big crowds, don't they, over there?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Be interested to see the result. I think looking at recent results, there's only one winner there, really, isn't there? You know, so. Maybe let's turn it around tomorrow, on Saturday. Maybe. And they're
lovely club guys as well. And I think out of most of the clubs that are they're in there, they're one of those clubs you want to see keep stay in the league as well.
Yeah,
they're really lovely people. As well. Like Mark Letizia and all these type of people that are over there. Tony the man,
and they've worked hard. They've worked hard, Dave, haven't they?
Yeah.
To get their team in the on the mainland league. So
yeah, I mean, looking at the goals scored, goals conceded in their last 5 away games for Haywards Heath, they've scored 11 and conceded 11. And in the games for Guernsey at home, they've scored 6 and conceded 12. So
again, leaking goals like that at home, then you're not going to pick up too many points, are you? So
no,
they're going to have to sort that out.
So where are we going with this one then, lads?
I'm going to go for a draw on that one. I'm going to go for a high scoring draw though, seeing as both defences are leaking. I'm going to go for a 3-3 draw.
Okay, Paul.
I'm going 2-1 Guernsey.
2-1 Guernsey.
Someone's got to help them.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw, a lower draw for me in that one.
Okay.
So if we move on then to the trophy, we'll go to the one that I'll be at the weekend, and Averley against Dunstable. Again, going to be a good game, a different team for Averley as well, because a team from outside of the league. How much, when you was in charge, say like Averley Tell and so forth, how much did you actually go and visit the opposition or send a scout out to go and see, especially if he was in trouble?
All the time. All the time. You have to, otherwise you're not doing your job properly, are you? So, but funny enough, I know the manager at Dunstable. He was at Luton a few years ago when they won the Johnson's Paint Trophy, when my Michael was there, Tony McCall. So I know what they're all going to be about. Dunstable, they'll be a young side. There'll be a footballing side, typical sort of academy sort of football side. I just think Averley will just be too cute and too strong for them tomorrow. But when Dunstable go there, they're going to want to play on that pitch. I'm not a lover of 3G or 4G, whatever you call it these days. But I'd expect Dunstable to go there and fancy their chances, really, simply because of the style of football they play.
Yeah.
And knowing Tony, like the manager there, knowing that he'll enjoy the underdog bit, that's for sure. If Averley do underestimate, and they'll come unstuck, but I'm sure they won't. I'm sure they won't.
We're looking at Averley's last 5 games. Of course, they lost 2-0 away to Romford. They won 1-0 away to Morden. They lost 4-0 at home to Cheshunt. And then they won 2-1 and 2-1 against Basildon in the league, and of course the trophy in the last round. So, Paul, have you seen much of Averley or have Dunstable yourself?
No, I haven't, mate. I'll be honest, I haven't seen Averley this year. I'm going to guess they'll be very similar to Brightlingsea. When James was there, but they're unbeaten at home in the league, aren't they? I think. They're doing well, sitting second. So it's an unknown quantity. I think, like the question about whether you got the teams watched, especially when you didn't know who they were and they were coming from a different league, you've got to go and watch them. I think when we was at the Abbey, we played Bedford, and we'd had them watched 2 or 3 times to make sure we knew what their weaknesses were, their strengths were. I don't know about you, Tel. You don't need war and peace on it. You just need basic.
You just know what set pieces they use, if they've got a long throw, just basic stuff, really. But at least you know a little bit about it, so you take.
I remember we played someone and asked for a report from Saffron Wood, I think it was at the time, and I got a 15-page dossier. But yeah, look, I don't see anything other than an Averley win on this, mainly because of their league standings. Dunstable sitting on the bottom end.
They're strong at the moment, aren't they? The players they've got tells you that they've got to win that game, really. When they had a bit of a shock result in the week, didn't they? I think they lost. Yeah. A bit of a shock result there, so they're not unbeatable.
2 goals.
No, look, 5 minutes. Doesn't win 4-0. So, no, look, it's one of them. They seem quite consistent, but cup game, mate. You never know.
I think I'm right in saying as well. I think if they do win on Saturday, Averley, I think that's like a club record. I know when I was there, Craig, often said to me, we never do well in the cups or whatever, especially when there's money involved or whatever. But I'd expect them to be too strong for Dunstable, really, unless they underestimate them. In which case, as I say, I know Tony McCall from his days at Luton, and they are capable of shocking teams. Their league position tells you that Averley should win it by a canter, really, but. I don't know.
Well, I had a reply from the Averley Twitter feed. It says, "Hi Dave, if we are successful and defeat Dunstable Town, it'll be the the furthest we've got in the FA Trophy. We are currently in our best run in the competition since 1984.
Well, there you go. There you go. So they're never going to get a better chance. I think the home draw obviously is a massive incentive as well. And I'm sure they've done their homework and danced the ball. I think Aveley will be too strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Yourself, Paul?
Yeah, I think it'll be Aveley. I just don't see anything different than that.
Mm-hmm. So what we got score wise then?
I think it'll go from one extreme to the other. I think either Aveley will absolutely whack them by 4 or 5, or it'll be a tight one. So I'm going to go for a tight one. I'm going to go for a 3-2 Aveley win, simply because I'd like to see Tony do it right there. That could be a shock there, though. I'll tell you that now. That could be a shock there.
Paul?
2-0 Aveley for me.
I'm always looking at it, and I must admit, when I think we always try to make it hard for ourselves, if I'm honest, to see this year. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Aveley as well in that game. This is the one for me that I think we could see a shock, and it's Bracknell Town against Bognor Regis.
Yeah. Well, again, looking at their 2 records, it's sort of like chalk and cheese, isn't it? So yeah, you could be right here, Dave. I mean, they're scoring lots of goals, and they Bracknell. I don't think I'm right in saying they haven't lost at home as well. Another team that hasn't lost at home. Bognor have won 2 out their last 8, I think. But they score lots of goals, don't they, Bognor? So
how do you haven't won away from home yet? They've
have they not? Yeah. Well, it's the cup, so that it's a good opportunity to get away from the league, perhaps. But I think looking at it, really, it should be like 6-5 or 8-7 scoreline, because they both score so many goals. But football don't work like that. Yeah. So, but I think you're right. I think that's probably the pick of the ties there. I think that's going to be a cracker of a game. I think there'll be a lot of goals in it. So I'm going to go for a 0-0.
Yeah, I think this could be a common theme for us too.
Looking at Bognor's last 5 games, Bognor it was Bognor 8, Burgess Town 0. Top Angels 1, Bognor Regis 2. Bognor Regis 2, Folkestone 4. Bognor 0, Margate 0, and in their last game, Hive 2, Bognor Regis 1.
Yeah, I think Bognor have always been a strong side. They'll pop the ball and move the ball around. Bracknell, it's like we were saying earlier, they've come up. That winning mentality. It's a club that look like they want to do the right thing. Yeah. They've carried that winning mentality on. I listened to their director of football on I think it was on your show, one of your shows.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, oh yeah.
He just said they're just trying to do the right thing. They're just trying to make sure that they grow steadily, and that if you do that, sometimes the boys surprise you, and they're flying at the minute. Like you say, they won some. I think they've got the boy up for. Is it Ferdinand scoring a lot of goals from Liam Ferdinand? I think his name is.
Yeah, for Bracknell.
Yeah, for Bracknell.
Yeah.
But Bognor, they've been up and down like yo-yos, haven't they, the last couple of years? They've scored a lot of goals, 30 goals, but they also conceded a lot. 16. Whereas Bracknell they've scored 29, conceded 7.
Yeah.
They look strong. They've got a boy who used to play for us when I was at Chesham, a boy called Joe Gator, who plays at the back. I think he's a skipper over there. Good player. And again, very similar to what you're saying about Dunstable. A lot of young players. So it's a tough one, this one, I think. Long journey as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd go for an home win now. And I'm gonna say 3-1.
3-1 to Bracknell?
Yeah.
I'm going 1-0 Bracknell in that one.
And I was going 2-1 Bracknell, so it's quite incredible that we've got against the Prem side, but yeah, it should be a cracker. The next one we look at before we go on to our main game is Whitehawk versus Harlow. I mean, where do we see this one?
Where do you start with this one?
Yeah,
on paper this could be 12-12, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Although neither side are renowned for scoring goals, but I don't know. Arlo seem to be in free fall at the moment, don't they? Letting goals in left, right, and centre. And I don't think Whitehawk. I think they won one game in the last 10, got a -9 goal difference. So That's a tough one to call. I don't know what Whitehawk's home record's like, but maybe that'll give them the edge. I don't know. Saying that, Arlo, I know the guys at Arlo. They won't be happy about what's going on, and I think this could be a little bit of a release for them from the pressures of the league. And I think they might go there and nick a result there, Arlo, Saturday.
I think somebody said, I don't think, I might be wrong, I think Arlo haven't won at home so far this season. They've done most of their best performances away as well.
Yeah, maybe that's just the pressures off them there, Dave. It could be. It's they get a good crowd at Arlo.
I know the locals aren't happy. I'm sure you know that, Dave, as well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of shouting going on.
I mean,
but they've been here before, Arlo, haven't they? A few years ago, I remember we played them in there before they got promoted, and we beat them like 8 or 9-1 at home. And then the next season they got promoted. So, or the season after maybe it was. So I think
I remember that game, Tel. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm saying is just that they are capable. Arlo just turning things around at the snap of a finger. So I don't know what's going on over there, but they seem to have lost a lot of good players. And at the moment, they don't seem to have replaced them with players of the same calibre. So that's probably their downfall at the moment.
I think the only player left that I know over there is Fabian Sims, and and that's probably their best player they've had for a long, long time.
Yeah, he's a decent player, Fabian. Yeah.
Well, just looking at their records in the last 5 games, Harlow have won 1, lost 3, drawn 1. They beat Haringey Borough away 2-0. They drew with Margate away 0-0. They lost at home 4-0 to Carshalton. They lost away last Saturday, I think it was, to Kingstonian 7-0. And then in midweek they lost to Brighton-in-Sea 1-0 when, by all accounts, performance a little bit better. They've scored 2 and conceded 12 in theirs. Whitehawk have lost 4 and drawn 1. They lost 9-1 to Billericay away, 2-0 to Corinthian away. They drew with Brighton-in-Sea. They lost 6-0 to Enfield Town, and then they lost at home 1-0 to Lewis. So it seems like they've been taking a bit of a whacking. Have scored 2 and conceded 19.
Yeah, that's the problem of both teams, isn't it? I think that's going to be a tough one to call there Saturday, but I'm going to go for a score draw there, and I'll let to win the replay.
Yeah, it's tough. I think didn't Whitehawk had a lot of money at one point, didn't they?
Yeah, but are we talking earlier on about Tooting coming down and dropping down the division? Am I right in saying Whitehawk's done the same and come? Yeah. And is it that situation where that they just can't? When teams on
I think the thing is though, Dave, when you're getting beaten 9-1, I know Billericay are a decent side. I get all that. They get beat 6-0 just recently as well.
Yeah, 6 by Enfield.
I get that there's definitely a hang up when you come down, but I'm not sure getting beat like that explains that. All I can put it down to, and I don't know, and I may be wrong, but money's not the same as what it was. That's all I can think. Tell I don't know what you think, but.
Well, money. Obviously, we know. We know for a fact that money plays a massive part in non-league football. And generally, the teams that have got a lot of money are the teams at the top of the league. I don't know what's happened at Arlo. I don't for 1 minute think they're skint. So I don't know. I think sometimes, as we said earlier about. Teams that are getting dropping down a division, they find it hard to find their feet to get a winning mentality back. So I mean, it could well be that. So yeah, that's what makes it difficult to call that one.
Yeah. For me, I think it is screaming a draw for me. I think it'll be 1-1 and go to a.
I'm gonna go for a 1-1 with Arlo win the replay midweek.
And Paul, yourself?
Yeah, 1-0 for me. I think it'll go to a replay. I think Whitehawk will beat Harlow at Harlow because Harlow can't win a game at home to save their lives at the moment. So
I think I'm going to go for a 0-0 and just see
see what happens.
It'll be 5-5. I'm telling you, it'll be 5-5.
That's non-league football for you. Obviously, we haven't touched on it yet, but there's quite a few quid at stake, isn't there, on these ties?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that puts added incentive in the teams as well. So, and as I said earlier, for both teams to get away from their league, the pressures of the league and being down the bottom, or etc. It just gives the boys a day off, and things can change. And Paul's right; it could, that could well be 5-5 that, but I doubt it.
So I suppose the main game to have a look at today, and I picked this one out because I thought this one, although we said about Bracknell Bognor, it's one of those games where you look at it and think, well, this could well be a shock here. And you look at it and you think to yourself, well, okay, VCD, in great form, under Keith of late as well. And of course then Leiston, losing their manager as well. So, I mean, how will that affect them? They're in the league above, yes, but VCD have got some firepower, so and in really, really good form. I mean, where do you guys, see this one playing?
Well, we was talking to Keith the other night about his own team, weren't we? And he was saying that obviously Charlie, the fellow they've got up front, scores a lot of goals, and he's got another lad there as well, scores a lot of goals. But he also mentioned to us that they're a very, very young side. It's got X amount of 19-year-olds in it. Well, that can go for you or against you. And playing against, Leiston or Leiston, whatever you want to call them, they've got firepower as well. They've got Jake Reed that plays for them, Christy Finch that plays for them. He's an ex-pro Jake. He was at Dagenham with my Michael, and he's a good player. He's a good player, and on his day he's unplayable, especially in non-league. I just think that Keith ain't going to love me for this, but I just think Leeds are just going to be too experienced and have that extra bit of firepower, especially with the. Have they got a new manager there yet, or is there someone?
Well, if I'm honest, I'm not sure. I've not seen.
Yeah. But it's one of them. Again, it's a long old trip for them down to VCD, but they're going to turn up, and VCD's pitch, as we know, is like a carpet, and it gives other teams that turn up there a little bit of a bit of a boost, if you like.
Well, their form going into this, Leiston he's 1-1 with Needham, a draw there, and then they won 4-2 on penalties. They beat Howells Owen 4-0 at home. They lost 5-1 at home to Kings Lynn. They lost 3-2 away to Stratford. And then they beat St Ives away 2-0. VCD lost a close game against Cray Wanderers 2-1 at home. They drew 1-1 with Whitstable Town in the Kent Cup and then lost 5-4 on penalties. They then lost to Hyde 3-0 away. They beat Hanwell Town 3-1 and then they beat Whitstable Town last weekend by 3-1. So they're banging the goals in good form, and really, to be honest, they're not, in the last 5 games at least, they're not conceding many either.
Yeah, I don't. I agree with Terry. I just don't see anything past Leiston, if you want to call it. I think it'll just be one too many for them. As you said, whether there's a new manager or there's a caretaker, they're going to want to impress. Maybe one or two slightly different ideas, that may work. Yeah. I think, look, Keith's done great there this year, and they're going great guns. I just think this one will be one too many for them. Don't get me wrong, I hope not. I hope they win, but I just fancy Leiston for me.
I think it'll be close, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 away win.
Well, I'm just quick looking at they've played each other 4 times in the last 3 or 4 years. Leiston won VCD 2 in 2014, 2-2 draw in 2015, 0-0 draw in 2015, and the last time they played each other, which was 2016, it was a 3-0 win for Leiston.
It's pretty even, Stephen, record then, isn't it? So I'll just, as we just touched on, looking at Keith's team, all young kids and that, maybe it's not impossible for VCD to win that, but I think it maybe a step too far from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I fancy 3-1 Leiston for me.
3-1 Leiston. Double points on this one because this is our main game. So
2-1 Leiston, mate.
And for me, well, no disrespect, but I'm sitting next to him again on Monday night, so I'm going 2-1 VCD.
Good on you. Good on you.
I mean, you've just got to do it, haven't you? But no, I think they could, well turn over at least at the weekend. But some of the other games in the FA Trophy this week, before we leave it for tonight, this weekend is Wokinton versus Scarborough, Marine versus Lancaster, Warrington versus Prescott Cables, Pickering versus Droylsden, Frickley versus Ramsbottom, Whitby versus Witton, Farnsley versus Bridgehouse, Ossett United versus Clitheroe, South Shields versus North Ferriby. That could be a good game. Considering North Ferriby, if I remember rightly, were in the final not so long ago.
I think most of them fixtures, for me personally, is just throw the names up in the air.
Well, I mean, if you look at that in the last,
I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about it.
I thought it was Russian then, so completely lost me.
But then, in all fairness, South Shields, they were in the FA Bars final only a couple of years ago. North Ferriby were in the trophy final only 2 or 3 years ago. So that's going to be an interesting one. You've got Buxton versus Kingsley. And I'm just trying to pick out some of the ones where some of our boys might be in it if we can come down. There's a massive list here of different teams. So we'll just try and pick out the ones. Chipstead versus Berkhamsted. Sittingbourne versus Wingate and Finchley. Brentwood.
That'd be a good game. Sittingbourne, Wingate, that'd be a good game.
Brentwood Town versus Winstable Town. Hive versus Bishop Stortford. Molesley versus Walton Casuals. Kingstonian versus Bedford Town. Margate Potters Bar. Horsham versus Corinthian. Burgess Hill versus Worthing. Dorking Wanderers versus Sevenoaks. Biggleswade versus Harrow. Hitchin versus Hayes and Yedding. Malden versus Royston. Haringey Borough versus Chesham United. Well, there's a game. I mean, will the heads be on it? Knowing that in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, they'll be on the telly?
I think we touched on this the other night as well, didn't we? And, Tom there's got a job to do and get it across to the players that if they're going to not perform this week, then they're possibly not going to be playing it's a televised game as well, I understand now. But it's impossible to turn around and say to them players, forget about that. That's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Even let's be honest. This would be the game of their lives. As I said the other night, Tom's been about for a long while. He knows his stuff, and I'm sure he'll have them boys' heads on the game tomorrow because let's be honest, they've got more chance of winning that. The FA Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's, and the money in the FA Trophy now is not to be sniffed at. So
absolutely,
I'm sure. I hope all the clubs in our league. Let's hope they all do well tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it'd be good. Like you say, they're going to play in front of millions of people against AFC Wimbledon. They might play in front of one man and his dog this week. So look, at the end of the day, to be fair to them, they play with no fear. They go out there, they do the best they can, and they've been an excellent side the last couple of years. I fancy them to win. Would
you be wise as somebody sort of higher up chairman wise like Aki in that, and turn around and say, well, look, if you turn up to this game before that game like that gets you sort of guarantees you a ticket for the FA Cup game. Would you think the owner would be looking at that in a way of thinking, well, I might get a few more through the gate straight? I can guarantee people tickets if they,
any money worries and things like that. Get an extra 100 people in. I don't think he'd be that bothered, mate. To be honest,
nor do I. Nor do I.
He's probably swimming in that cash. So I wouldn't worry about it.
It's 75 grand for that game. So yeah, I dare say he will. Lowestoft versus Enfield Town. Ashford Middlesex versus Lewis. Hornchurch versus Ramsgate. Folkestone versus Leatherhead. Mersham versus Grinstead. Tonbridge Angels versus Whiteleaf. Hendon versus Staines. And that would be an interesting one.
Yeah, Hendon, they've had a bit of a rough time, haven't they, since Gary went to Dulwich. No, he didn't go to Dulwich. He went to Hampton Richmond.
Yeah. He's got a televised.
And there's been a lot of chopping and changing, hasn't there?
Yeah. He's got a televised.
A friend of mine coaching with us has gone over there doing the under 23. Vibe's quite good over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Hendon have always been a good side. We played them in the FA Cup. They were outstanding. Gary over there. So yeah, it'd be a tough one. good side.
Yeah.
Good side. So, yeah, it's a tough one to call.
Milden Hall versus Greenwich. Canby Island versus Brightlingsea. Kings Lynn versus Needham Market. Herne Bay versus Witham. Going down some more of these. I think we might come to the end of all of ours, but that's it. Metropolitan Police versus Carshalton, which is one of the other ones, and that'd be a good game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know too much about either side, if I'm honest. I think from what I can gather, Carshalton a good footballing side with decent surface. Again, Met Police, decent surface, and I would have thought it'd be a good footballing side as well. So, yeah, they're. I think that, look, when it comes to the cup competitions, they're all great games, they're all exciting games because there's money at stake, and it raises the bar a little bit.
They're still in the FA Cup, aren't they? Met Police as well.
Yeah, they are.
So they're gonna have the same. Or the manager there's gonna have the same problems what Tom's got at Haringey, and that's keeping their eye on the ball for that game. And let's be honest, they're not professionals. We're non-league people, and I dare say one or two may well take the eye off the ball. So a bit of a banana skin there for Met Police and I've got to say, and Haringey as well. I don't fancy either of them tomorrow.
No. Well, listen, guys, it's massive thank you for joining me tonight, and hopefully we'll see each other again this time next week as well. And I'll get hold of you guys. I'll let you between the two of you, I'll let you pick your games for next week, and then we'll sit there and have a discussion. And of course, we'll also have a look and see where we finished up this week as well, at the beginning of next week as well, to see.
That'd be interesting.
Who leads after week one? So that'll be really interesting to see.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to all the Isthmian teams anyway. Let's hope they'll do it, everybody. Yeah.
Listen, guys, massive thank you once again, and for everybody that watches the show, massive thank you for joining us on our new show. Don't forget, of course, me and Keith will be back on Monday evening with the Isthmian show itself. I can't let you into who's going to be on there at the minute because we're still working on who's coming on, but we will be back, me and Keith, on Monday, and of course me, Terry and Paul will be back with you again next Friday night. But until then, hopefully you will get the results you want. Until then, we'll see you then. Good night.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, mate.